Hello everybody, welcome to today's video. I hope you enjoy, so let's get started. Believe it or not, it has come time to revisit this bizarre ceiling fan again, because we have made something. A replacement gear. Is it perfect? Probably not, but I'm really hoping it works. I designed this in my free time before and after work. I have some time before, well, work day starts, and at the end a little bit, so I spent time modeling the original gear in Blender, and this is what we came up with. Here is our new gear. So, we're going to go ahead and get it into its gearbox here. I really hope it fits. I measured everything with a caliper device and everything. It is spot on, as close as I can get it. So, let's revisit our bizarre ceiling fan again here, and hopefully we can get this thing working. Well, it fits on its shaft there. I did have to make the little hole in the middle a little bit bigger, but if I spin it here, you can kind of see it's working. I don't have my tripod, so I'm going to try to hold this up somewhere, and we're going to turn it on and see what we get. Okay, so we got two drills holding the camera up here, and I want to hold it so that this little fan blade doesn't get in anything. So let's hope for the best. Here we go. Do we not have any connection? Now we have no power. That's nice. Oh, the live wire over here has fallen out of the neutral. Well, you know, I actually took the light kit off. And I'm sure what happened is obviously that was on the same neutral here. And, well, it must not have got put back together. Okay. We're going to try this again. Let's put our gear back on there. Seems to be happy enough for the moment anyway. I don't know how strong this thing will be. It'd be kind of nice to maybe make this top part a little bit bigger. Anyway, we're all here to see if this thing does anything. Let's see if it does. Here we go. Hey, look at that. It's spinning. Oh my goodness, you gotta be kidding me, it works. I'm gonna give it a little bit of stress. Oh yeah, it's got some torque. Oh yeah, it's got some real torque. Wow, okay. This is awesome. Okay, let's put this thing together. Okay, I got it greased up a little bit here. So now, let's get it back together. Okay, so we got the motor back mounted in its housing here. Why not give it another go? Yep, that sounds wonderful, don't it? Okay, so I wanted to take a look at the light kit here. And the problem that I have with the light kit is that the wires have started to have some issues. As you can see, this one has started to have a chemical reaction with the copper wire. And this one is like some type of weird fabricy thing that is breaking very nicely. So for some reason, we have two different wire styles here. And the wire for the switch itself seems to be just fine. So I'm going to take the socket off and see if it's soldered on or screwed on. It's probably soldered on, let's be honest. And I'm going to clean up this, shade fitter here and try to get it not as rusty, and that should hopefully be presentable. I might not put that on right away, just because, I don't know, I just really want to see it working. But we'll get a different socket on here, and we'll get all that set up. But for right now, I'm going to take this apart and see what we got. Here's the rest of our parts, and I need to put on all these different C-clips again. So I'm going to continue with that, but that's where the light is currently sitting. Yeah, just as I expected, the wires are kind of crimped on here. They're not really replaceable, so this thing's garbage. We're going to be getting a new socket for it. Okay, so we got it hung up here. Let's see what we get. I know, it's just on a hook. It's not actually, mounted appropriately to absolutely anything. And we have this nice little pull string here that wants to have some fun. That is just so cool. How bizarre is this thing? It's bizarre as can be. And loud as can be, too. Okay, let's put some more weight on it by putting some blades on it. Okay, everybody ready? Moment of truth, here we go. Oh my goodness. What a noisemaker. Let's get underneath it. Is it blowing any air? Barely a breeze. Boy, how could I mean, if you had this in your establishment and you're just blasting music all the time, good for you. You don't have to hear it, but yeah, it's loud. What a bizarre item, but so cool at the same time. Okay, let's turn it off and see what it does. It's definitely got momentum to it. You know, just for a little comparison here, we have a wonderful heat fan, Emerson. Yeah, this thing obviously goes way faster. It's got a K55 motor on it, you know. This thing's got more go than this thing ever will. But it's also way quieter. So let's turn that back off and turn our attention back to this guy again. It's funny how it jerks its way to start, and that's probably because of the way it is currently mounted with just a random hook. But the thing is so light. It's missing its weight in the top. That's what is supposed to be in that random cup hole that's at the top there. It looks like you put, I don't know, a can of soda or something in it. But it's supposed to be a weight, apparently. So let's go ahead and do it one more time. Here we go. You know, probably that start every time is what ruins that gear. It has to get the thing up and going, and it's putting a ton of force on that gear. But I am just overly amazed that I got it working. Designed the gear, printed it off with some spare filament we had sitting around, and here it is. How awesome is that? Okay, well, obviously, in the future, I'll get the light kit back on it. I will find some weight to put in the weight section of it, and that should hopefully help with balancing, I'd assume. We'll get it mounted more appropriately and in a little bit better condition before we do a more appropriate video of this thing. Let me get down on the ground here so you can get a better view. Yeah, I don't know how many RPMs this thing is doing, but it's barely making a breeze. It's just so interesting that the whole housing spins. Gosh, it's so bizarre, I love it. The other day when we spoke, of course that was just a clip ago, we were taking a look at this wonderful gear-driven fan here, and I need to clean up this light housing. Now, not sure if it is original or not. I mean, it does fit within the area and everything. It'd probably help if I point the camera at stuff, but it needs to be a little bit cleaned up. It's a little bit rusty, and I want to do the same thing with the down rod here. It's a little bit dirty. Everything's a little bit dirty, so I'm going to go through and give everything a bit of a clean. And we're going to see if we can find a new socket for this. And I should hopefully have one in my random bin of sockets and stuff. So, starter sockets, that's not going to work. These are switches. That's not it, obviously. We got to dig deeper. Do have some sockets here. These are all not the sockets I'm looking for. That's nice. Let's see. I thought I had some. Maybe they're in here. This one's lamp parts. Dimmer. Here's a socket. I know I have some that I can use. I'll be back, I guess. Okay, here's the bin of sockets. Well, that's not exactly it. It's got a switch on it. I got a bunch of them that are clips and stuff. That's annoying. What's this? Oh, it's another one with a switch on it. Okay, we might have to do some actual investigating here. That one's got 3 sockets on it. We got the fan apart here. Obviously, it's cleaned up a bit better than it was. Got some new grease on there, so it's ready to be put back together. And the inside here, now I did take out the down rod, as you can see, because I'm modifying it a little bit. I'm adding some wires to this in a different configuration than I think it was before. Well, it is definitely different because I'm doing something different. And that is that the light kit here has a switch on it. And there's no switch for the fan. You'd have to wire that up on a switch, you know, on the wall or something. So I'm going to use the same switch as the light for the fan. It'll just do both, whatever. At least then it doesn't need to have a separate switch somewhere. So to do that, we need to put some new wires in, and this is wire from a newer ceiling fan actually. It's just reused. And we have one for the main power, one to return to the fan motor, and a neutral for the light. Of course, all that comes up here, and we'll get, you know, wired up inside of the housing. But we do have an opening here for the wires. I'm not sure how easy it'll be to get this rubber safety grommet thing back in there, but we'll give it a try anyway. I do need to go and get an appropriate socket. I had a candelabra base socket, but I don't want to put that in there. I want a medium base one. So, of course, we're going to get that. And if we don't see anything next, that's probably because we're waiting on it. We're back again, and I stopped by McClendon's because I knew they would have a socket. They had a plastic one and a ceramic one, and would you believe it, the ceramic one was $2 cheaper than the plastic one. Why? No idea. But here it is. They had a ceramic one with wires and one with terminals. I wanted the terminals because then it's a little less, you know, full of wire nuts in this area. Now, the other thing is that the original socket that was on here had a threaded pipe on it already, so hopefully I have a little piece. I didn't really realize that until now. Anyway, I picked up a whole bunch of these little bells that you put on the end of pull chains. They have, unfortunately, a whole bunch of their lamp part section on clearance. And this was one of the items for 24 cents. So I picked up 8 of them here. Obviously a little less than $1. And, well, they're always fun to have on the ends of pull chains. I really do prefer these over all other pull chain ends. I love the little bells. So, let's see what we can do to get the socket all mounted up and happy. I'm truly amazed I was able to get this rubber grommet thing back in here because it was a very tight fit. But it's good that it's there. It protects the wires. And you can faintly see inside there where the gear from the motor touches the gear of the housing right there. Got the switch and the socket all wired up. Getting pretty close at mounting this thing up in its new home. Just need to find a place to put this bracket, and that's the hard part, really. So there's the idea with the bracket. Hopefully that'll work out. Would you believe it? I got the thing installed and then this gear decided to break. At least we can try to put a zip tie around it. I really hope this works. Of course, once I get a video of it, I'll just, well, 3D print this gear now. But for right now, I just want this thing going. Okay, after all the pain in the world, let's give it a go. Nice. Now the chain hits on it. Just what I always wanted. Well, instead of camera here will do anything. Beautiful. I'll have to do something about that. But there it is. As you can see, it's got kind of a funny look to it. I decided to put in one of those flame fire style orange LEDs. Thought it would give it a neat look with the brown. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do something about the pull chain. That's too bad. It must have been doing that when the original person had it too. But there it is. Finally working. Just bend the light kit a little bit. That seems to fix the problem. We all know the journey with this thing is just never gonna end, right? Wouldn't you know it, it doesn't work again. Let's figure out why this time. Okay, so I take all the blades off and turn it on just out of curiosity, and now it's working. Is it the weight of the blades? But I was spinning it before and it wouldn't go. Now it's got a weird click to it though. So if you look closely, on the gear here. This one's made out of the same plastic as the one that broke. And if you can see, I don't know if it'll focus on it, but some of the gears are the little teeth are disintegrating. And that, I think, is what is happening. So we'll definitely have to reprint that gear, and that will solve our problem. But for right now, I really just want the thing working for a quick video. I've always been on the lookout for furniture to put on the deck outside. And when I come across something, I kind of debate it and think about how it might look and price and all that. Because some of this furniture to go on a patio is quite expensive for what it really is, you know, quality-wise. None of it seems to be really good quality. But anyway, I was at Fred Meyer the other day. Well, this was a while back, actually. This thing's been sitting here a minute. And I found this 4-piece outdoor set. It was on clearance with an extra 30% off that price. So I got it for like $80-something, I think. But it's a pretty decent set. And for that price, it seems like a decent deal for the quality of stuff. We'll see how good a quality it actually is. But not a bad deal for original price. I'm going to start putting it together and we'll see what it looks like outside. It looks halfway decent out here. I'm pretty happy with it. So I have this really cool ProLight PL adapter flood bulb, and I really want somewhere to present this thing, use it, enjoy it. I picked up this floodlight fitting here a while back. It's a very nice, high-quality Staber product here for $8, and it has a nice pull chain on it. So I'm thinking I can put this on a box, put it up somewhere, and, well, we can present and enjoy the ProLight flood bulb. So that's what I'm going to do. We're going to find a box for this and wire it up, and it's going to find a home. And here's the idea. I decided to go with this outdoor box because then you get to hang it up, which is a nice idea. But the problem here is that we have the pull chain. And if you want to put it here, well, it doesn't fit. And that's because we have this in the way. If it was this way, it'd be fine, but then you can't hang it up. I want, you know, this to be on the top. So I took the Dremel here and Dremeled the bottom of that, and I'm hoping I can wiggle it back and forth and maybe break it out of there. So there's our little piece that was right here. I ended up also needing to cut a little bit at the top here, and I just used a flathead screwdriver, put it down in there, and it just popped right off, so that's perfect. Now we can actually put it together. Just got to clean it up a little bit, get rid of the burrs, and we should be good. There we go. It's looking great. And we have the original pull chain here too. I love that with the bell on the end. So cool. Okay. Now we just got to find a home for it with our cool flood bulb here. Here's Winston. Haven't seen him in a while. But we're up here in my bedroom because this is where I'd like to put up the new fixture. So obviously we have the 13 watt PL PAR 38 bulb in here. The thing is super cool, and we have our pull chain on it, and I thought, what a perfect place to put this, right above the bed. So as you can see, I have a magnet there because all the drywall in this place is of course held up with nails and screws. So if you can find where that is, that's a good stud finder. So I have a magnet right where I'd like to put it, pretty much right in the center of the bed here. That's as good as we're going to get it. And I'm going to hang it up just about where it is probably, because you'll have the pull chain and you want it to come down so that, well, you can pull it, you know, while you're laying in bed. You don't have to reach for the lamp or anything. So that's where it's going to end up. But some interesting things to point out while we're here is the Tropicool fan here. This is not the triangular one that you would normally see. This one is a totally different design, but it is a vintage one. Got this at Goodwill quite some time ago, and it cleaned up really nicely. We got our Lampy F4T5. I want to say it's a Lights of America. Yeah, Lights of America F4T5. And our Lampy F8T5. And of course, our little neon lamp here with a 5 watt PL bulb. Gotta have preheat, you know. And then, of course, you can have, you know, both of them at the same time. I don't have any of this other stuff plugged in. It's just kind of here, except for the phone charger, naturally. You gotta have that. I got this light here. I was planning on hanging it up somewhere, but it just never happened. Somewhere inside here because it's just so cool. I didn't want to put it in the garage with the temperature changes and everything. I just wanted it to be in a nice, suitable place. I thought I'd hang it on the wall here in the bedroom, just never got around to it. So we're gonna get that light put up here, and everyone outside is doing their lawn today, it seems. But either way, we got the light on the wall here. So I just got it temporarily plugged in. Let's go ahead and see what we get. That's cool. I like the uplighting. Of course, we can, orient it, down or in any other direction. But I like uplighting. I like indirect. And it's awesome. It's right down here, so you can, turn it on and off while you're laying in bed. Winston can do it from where he's sitting here, just reach on over there. See? Okay. Anyway, so there is our new light above the bed. And I'll continue on with a little bit of a tour here because we don't really come up here. We have this old, I want to say like 1920s or so lamp here. It's incandescent. I think it was on one of the vlogs a really long time ago. And there's what's on the bottom. Got this at Goodwill in downtown Seattle a long time ago. The reason I have a bulb extender in here is I had an actual A19 25 watt incandescent in here and it burned out a while back. And the problem is if you have a regular or a short neck 25 watt, the filament sits down too far, and when you're laying in bed it just kind of like glares at you. So with the light extender, or the socket extender I should say, it brings it up high enough that the filament of the frosted bulb here, isn't right in line with your eyes when you're laying in bed. But anyway, I wanted to keep a frosted 25 watt in here. It just is so fitting for the age of the lamp. And next to it we have, of course, the Nintendo alarm clock thing, Blaziken, because he's one of my favorites. There's Jasper, haven't seen him in a while. And of course some Foxes, gotta have that. The iMac G5, it still lives on. It sits here on the desk. Sometimes I turn it on and play around with some old Power PC programs. It's always fun. And of course the iPad for whenever I get the itch to, do some drawings or something. But that's really all I got up here. Winston is happy that now he has a light on the wall. Isn't that just fun? Using the same magnetic magic, we are able to find another stud to hang up the GE floodlight here. Better than having it sit around anyway. And it fits well in the corner. It's a little bit symmetrical to the corner, which is nice. And I wanted it pointing straight down, so it's kind of like a can light or something. You come over and you realize, oh, there's a really cool bulb in that thing. That excitement you have when you're out and about and you find a fixture and you gotta look at what kind of bulb's in there. Oh yeah, that's an exciting one. So that's a nice out of the way spot for it, right above the G5 here. Of course, went shopping like every other weekend, and here's what I happened to pick up. So yesterday went to the Restore and picked up these 4 items here. We have a 7th generation full spectrum light bulb. This is, I believe, made of that like neodymium glass. It's got that very fancy blue glass, very high quality. It's heavier than a normal bulb would be too. It's a little bigger than a standard A19. I want to say it's like an A23 or something. Picked up this 300 watt Mogul base bulb. I have a couple of these lamps, so whenever I find these bulbs out and about, I go ahead and pick them up. All these things were 50 cents a piece, so why not? Perfect time to pick up something like this, and it's in a nice older package as well. Now the Restore had a biggie full of these things. These are 60 watt pole lamp bulbs, obviously in a flame shape as you see here, but they're 120 volt with the European style base. It's in between candelabra and intermediate. I forget the exact name for this one. For some reason E14 is coming to my mind, but it's in between intermediate and candelabra. So I picked up 2 of those, 2 of the boxes that were in the best condition. That's definitely worth a video. And then today, stopped by the thrift store, and I noticed on the shelf of random stuff, they had these 2 bulbs. We got a double life 100 watt incandescent, and this is really what I picked it up for, is the GE party bulb. It's not in its package correctly, it's in upside down, but I love this packaging. I have not seen this in years. There we go, got it back in its carton here as it should be. It's a little bit bent up, but it does fit in there very nicely. Again, a very cool package. That's definitely worth the price. Then, of course, ended up at Walmart, and they had some more things on clearance. Here they have one of these Philips Super Energy Saver bulbs. It's supposed to last a lot longer. I've seen some of these online. I've never picked one up because they're usually quite expensive. Like this one was originally $7.50. Now, I don't know if that's its original price or if that's its previous clearance price, but as you can see, there used to be three. There has been, including this one, 3 different clearance stickers on this. So it probably was quite expensive when it was, you know, still a thing that they were selling. But as you can see, it's a 40% energy savings compared to a standard LED. And there you can see the LED filaments inside. Now, one of the annoying things here is that it's daylight. I'm not the biggest fan of daylight bulbs, but I wanted to pick one of these up and see what it's all about. I've heard about them. So here it is, definitely worth a video. And last but not least, I picked up 3 packages of these. These are some Better Homes and Gardens bulbs that Walmart sold for a while. The one closest to us here seems to be getting rid of all this kind of stuff, and this does have a copyright of 2022 on it. But for $2, I thought that's not a bad deal for 2 of these bulbs. I don't really need this particular, you know, Edison-style shape, as they call it nowadays. But for $2, $1 a piece, some supposedly 60-watt equivalents, more like 40-watt or something with 500 lumens. Not too bad for fixtures that have shades or things. I have some lights that have candelabra bases in them that just need a dimmer bulb for accent lighting. So I picked the 3 packages up that they had because they were warm white. They're not the 2200K, they're 2700K. So they'll be a nice addition to, you know, usable bulbs that I use around the house. One other thing I forgot to show is this dartboard. Why would I pick up a dartboard? I don't even know. But it just felt like quality. This thing is heavy as can be. And it was only $4.50 at the thrift store. It doesn't seem to be very used. And it's all metal and, you know, whatever material they make a dartboard out of. I don't, you know, personally play darts, but I think it's really neat. Especially for the price, you know, it can definitely be hung up out in the garage here, or, you know, somebody can use it, and I don't know, it just seems real good quality. I don't know anything about this Abbey brand at all, but for $4.50, seems like a good little find. I really do hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, be sure to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this one. Leave a like down below, and a comment. I do enjoy reading all of your comments. Of course, check out the other videos here on the screen. And until next time, thank you very much for watching.